So let's talk about a couple lessons that we've learned as a family traveling and doing this whole RV thing for 2 years. There's definitely ups and downs. There's definitely a lot of things that we might have purchased in the beginning that we thought were going to work really well as things that we didn't purchase that we wish we had purchased. We never took the weather into a huge consideration. How stupid is that? Because tell you what, when we're in Alabama, we experienced some of the worst weather that we've ever experienced, especially being in a camper. Between having tornado warnings every other day or unbelievable torrential downpours where you couldn't see 2 feet in front of you. Wind is probably the biggest factor that even now scares the crap out of us. You want to be sitting in a camper and all of a sudden you feel all these gusts of wind. Next thing you know, things are shaking inside. Kids are looking at each other. They're looking at you like, Dad, please help. I'm like, I can't control the weather. Like, Mother Nature does not listen to me. You guys barely listen to me. So I will say that the biggest issue that we've had is weather. Some of the things that we love and that we've learned to really appreciate. So we got a Camco black tank reverse flush kit. That right there works so good to get all the built up stuff within a black tank kind of up and out. Works a lot better than the flushes that are within your system. So within your rig, when you connect to it, it's pretty much supposed to have this like sprinkle hose, and what it does is it sprays all around and it's supposed to be like this great thing. It's not. It's like the worst thing possible. I've never seen any benefit from that. It barely works. So a reverse flush tank kit is definitely a huge priority and importance if you're deciding that you want to be, you want to start this. Another thing that I would say is huge is this thing called Save a Drop. It's not a regulator. What it does is it tracks it's a water flow meter. So it tracks how much water is going through, and we connect it on our flush side because we have a Y splitter for our 2 hoses for our fresh water and for our black tank flush. It'll tell you how much water you're putting in so you don't overfill your tank. So I mean, it speaks just amazing to not have to worry about overflowing your tanks. When we first started, and this was the first month that we actually left. We left Colorado on September 1st at like 4:53 a.m. in 2022. Our slide was broken with our Grand Design unit, which is almost comical because the reason that we got Grand Design is because it's supposed to be known for this incredible quality. Things don't break. Oh, everything breaks in RVs. So that's probably a lie in itself. Everything breaks. So speaking of overflowing, and get back to the story, what ended up happening, nothing overflowed, but we didn't check all of our faucets and made sure that they were closed. So them not being closed, when I connected the water and I turned the water on, next thing I know, I'm hearing dripping inside the unit. I go inside and there's like probably a good ½ inch of water in the bathroom that's like pooling out and pouring down out of the sink. It sucked. So we started off rough, having water pretty much pooling out, then figure out our slide doesn't open all the way. It was such a cluster, and you're already limited to the amount of space you have in these things. You don't realize how much 6 inches, makes. And I know you're out there thinking 6 inches. That's not much. You know what? in an RV. 6 inches is all you need. No, we didn't buy this when we first started, but my wife got this kit that's supposed to be filtered, and you can connect it to your sink and allows you to have filtered water. Granted, your water's already filtered, but we don't drink the filtered water that comes out of the camper just because I just don't want to drink that shit. What we tend to do is just go to Walmart or like a water fill-up station, and we'll fill it up that way. So we have like 3 5-gallon tanks under the sink, and we go through those pretty regularly, probably like once or twice a week. At least once a week. I wouldn't say twice a week. We're not sea creatures. Biggest rewards of living in a camper, because it's not all perfect. You have shitty weather, you have shitty roads, you have limited space. But I would say the biggest reward is the freedom that you get to change your environment when you please. What we do is we travel 3 weeks. So we go 3 weeks in, and then we go to a different park for 3 weeks, back to back to back, and we go through 1,000 trails. Some 1,000 trail parks are amazing. Some of them are the worst things on earth. I think we went to one in Tennessee, and it looked like their main office building was completely blown away by a storm, and they never fixed anything. So their roof was literally exposed. There was crap all over the porch, and the park itself didn't look like it was maintained at all. Granted, once we get out of there, we went to Indiana. Indiana we loved. I think it was Twin Lakes or something. I don't even remember what the hell it was called, but that was a really, really, really nice park. Definitely loud because it was more so of a like weekender place. And when everyone from the weekends that comes over there, you're loud, you're partying, and it was a tough place to be. A beautiful place. Really, really surprisingly liked Indiana. Indiana and Ohio were like some of my favorite spots. Oh shit, I don't know. We were up at 1,000 Trails in Alabama. Beautiful park. It was like the sites that we were at completely brand new. Their clubhouse was gorgeous. It walked right out to a lake. Only bad thing is we didn't have internet. And what we use for internet is T-Mobile Home. We used to use, God, what the hell is it called? Calyx. We used to use Calyx internet. And I think when we first got it, it was like $700 for the year. And it's just a wireless, unlimited hotspot. That's gotten us out of a few binds, but mainly we use T-Mobile Home Internet. Apparently they're going to change it, and it's going to be like $160 a month for you to be able to travel with their unit. So we're probably going to switch to Verizon, because Verizon's is $70 a month. It's not geo-locked, and it's just as good. So that's at least what we do for internet. So back to our favorite places, and kind of the rewarding part of living in a camper. Our kids get a completely different experience. They don't have the same experience of waking up, going to school, sitting on the bus, going to class, learning about 30 seconds worth of material, and the rest of the time you're just hanging out, messing around with your friends, which sometimes the social aspect is not always around. For the most part, weekends come around, and my daughter's made a lot of really good friends that, one of them we have campfires with all the time. Anytime we're in their area, which is every 3 weeks, we go to a farmer's market with them. It's really, really cool. Homeschooling has its battles. It definitely has its battles. It's definitely difficult at times. But your kids have a curriculum. They have, I'll put it this way. My daughter's done school every single day at around maybe like 3, but then she has a 2-hour break, so we'll call it 1 o'clock. Her classes are short. They're to the point. They have tests. They have everything that you have in traditional school. She gets to interact with all the other students. They have after-school activities. The school had a baseball game that you could meet some of the friends and the teachers, so we took him to that. And my 15-year-old, he went to homecoming with a girl he met at one of the parks, and she was like 2 hours away, and we drove up there, dropped him off, and he had a hell of a time. So you could still have that social aspect. It's just not as prominent, I guess, as they would if they were just in a traditional school. Being around each other, there's no place to run. You know, if you have a problem, you're going to figure out that problem. You're going to find a solution. You're going to get down to brass tacks, and you can't escape. You're like in this little box of emotions, and no one's allowed to leave. I don't care if you're mad. Why are you mad? How can we help you? You don't want us to help you? That's too bad. Now you're sitting here mad and everyone else is laughing. You know, life has to go on. There's things that we figured out that work, things that we figured out that don't. Go to your room really does not work in an RV. Go to your room is still 2 feet away and they're still part of everything. So let your kids have their emotions, then you deal with it if it's too much. So, I mean, in short, the most important things that we've purchased are going to be the Save a Drop water meter, the Camco reverse flush. We bought the Flush King, but the Flush King literally broke. Where it connects, the plastic bits broke right off. You have your regular little slinkies. We've tried, there's one where it like stakes into the ground for your black and your gray tanks, the hoses. Those didn't work very well. So literally the Camco traditional little zigzag thing to hold your black tank works the best. That works the best. So getting those two, important. Don't go all fancy and try to buy all this random stuff that you think you might need. Get a good drinking hose. If you plan to do it full time, I wouldn't even worry about buying a normal drinking hose. I would just buy a heated one right off the bat. Having that means you don't have to worry about down the line, let's say it's closed and your hose freezing. You don't have to worry about your lines necessarily freezing up because they're going to have somewhat heated water going through them at all times. So, Save a Drop, some sort of reverse flush kit, heated water hose, a rug, of all things, a rug for your main area. We just bought this recently. It does such a good job insulating. Don't know why it works so well, but it works. Dishes, silverware, all that other stuff. I mean, if your stuff's not gonna fly open, you're probably good just using your glass or whatever. Just be wary, because if that does fly open and you get back into that camper and you're getting ready to set up, the last thing you wanna do is open up your camper door, you walk inside and you see glass literally everywhere. That is a dog shit way to start your day. Now let's finish this off with things that I wish I knew before we started camping. Before we started full-time RV living. Man, there's so many, but I would say one of them is be prepared for the weather. 2, definitely know where you're going and have alternate routes. If there's a detour or there's something going on with clearance, because you definitely don't want to be stuck. You don't want to be sitting at a bridge that you can't go under. Thankfully, it's never happened to us, but I do my due diligence when it comes to that. I wish I knew all the right things to get and not all the bullshit that everyone tells you to get. Get a Save a Drop. Get a reverse flush kit. Spend the money on one of those nice little outdoor rugs. Get a picnic bench cover so your ass doesn't have splinters in it all the time. Like, those are just some of the things that we wish we knew. We wish that we would have inspected our unit far better than we did when we first purchased it, because we would have known it had XYZ issues. You can't plan for something unplanned. Things will happen. Things will break. Weather will suck. But at the end of the day, just do your research. Think about where you're going to go and think about how you want your life to be on the road. You know, you don't like your TV, buy a new TV. When we pack up, we literally take all the TVs off the walls, put them on a bed, wrap them in a blanket, and they're pretty much mummified. Like, nothing's going to happen to them. They're not going to move. Make sure that your fridge cover actually covers your fridge. We walked into our fridge one time, and we had a massive jar of pickles. And I mean, dude, this thing was comically large. Like, how the fuck did this fit in the fridge? And there's pickles everywhere. Smelled like, you know, dill pickles for the next 2-3 days. So make sure you have a really good clasp for your fridge. Get an air fryer. That is our best friend. We don't use propane. We don't use our stove. So we don't use propane for cooking. We use our propane all the time for showers and hot water, but we don't use it for cooking. Like, I want to save our propane as much as possible. Not that it's super expensive, but it's just another added expense on top of the gas, the payments, the insurance, and everything else that you're going to pay. Unless you're rich as hell and you don't have any payments, then fuck, cook with it. Who cares? Air fryer. Need an air fryer. It is the number one way that we cook. We have an electric kettle. That thing works absolutely phenomenally. So, we've learned a lot. We've grown a lot. We've broken a lot. And we've fixed a lot. We've enjoyed the travels. We've enjoyed the memories. And we're definitely enjoying the experience. And it's not that it's something that we can just stop because housing's so crazy, we can't afford to buy a house. So this is just, you know, you got to make do with what you got. And I think what we got is a very different experience than most people get. It's pretty amazing. I probably wouldn't change it. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thanks for listening to me blab if you did. If not, you're probably not even hearing what I'm saying right now. So have a good day. Enjoy your travels. Be safe. Comment in there if, you know, you want me to make a video talking about XYZ experience. I'll definitely make it. So have a great day.